Hi everyone, welcome to the first webinar in our series on volunteering abroad. Okay, let's get started. This webinar will give you a general overview of volunteering abroad. We're going to talk about the benefits for both the university and the students, how to integrate volunteering into your program, and we'll cover some pre-trip and post-trip planning tips. We'll also quickly go over how we can help you get your next program off the ground. First, let's talk a little bit about volunteering abroad. Volunteering has been on the rise over the past decade. Many educators have expressed an interest in adding volunteering to their international programs to enhance the effectiveness of their programs as well as boost student participation. Some schools are looking to internationalize their campuses, using volunteering abroad to add cultural immersion opportunities. Students are looking to enhance their resumes with hands-on opportunities that supplement their coursework. A long-term benefit of this movement is that students involved in humanitarian work develop cross-cultural sensitivity and seek to promote social development. In the end, everyone benefits: the schools, the students, faculty, their overseas partners, and society as a whole. Incorporating volunteering into your international programs offers a variety of benefits to your university. First, custom components, like service projects, make your program stand out. Second, offering opportunities to volunteer abroad will help your school produce culturally engaged students with the hands-on experience they're looking for. And service partnerships with organizations overseas will help your school establish a reputation for global involvement. This could lead to increased annual giving as well as enhanced recruitment ability. And one benefit you may not be aware of is that it can actually save your group money. Because fellowship travel works with so many volunteer organizations, we have humanitarian contracts with several airlines that offer discounts to groups that include humanitarian work in their overseas trips. Now let's talk about some of the benefits for the students. Participation in a volunteer project can resonate in students throughout their lives, affecting their perspective, self-confidence, their worldview, career path, employability, and more. Volunteering doesn't need to be directly tied to a course curriculum to have long-lasting effects. Any volunteer abroad opportunity increases the student's level of exposure to different cultures and improves their ability to adapt to those differences. Students also have an opportunity to learn firsthand the importance of giving back to the global community and the impact they can make with their individual skills. And they will gain a better understanding of global issues, America's role in the world, and the rest of the world's perception of that role. Now, if you want to take it one step further and do a service learning project, you can integrate the emotional and experiential nature of community service with your classroom studies. This combination will bring the material to life, resulting in a more comprehensive approach and a greater impact on the students. A service learning experience will enhance both their resumes and their ability to compete in this ultra-competitive job market. So, how do you incorporate volunteering into your program offering? Well, your first step is going to be to figure out how much volunteer time you want to include. You may already have an established itinerary. If so, you can simply get your feet wet by adding on a half day of volunteering, like working in a soup kitchen. This will allow you to take advantage of the discounted humanitarian flights while raising the student's level of exposure to the culture. Or you may be looking to create a new trip dedicated to volunteering, like an alternative spring break or J-term. An example of this would be working with a school for orphans in Nicaragua, educating the students or making repairs or additions to their facilities there. If you're developing a service learning program, either creating one from scratch or adding volunteering to an existing study program, this combination will enable students to apply their classroom knowledge to address real-world issues. A trip we helped design recently brought psychology students to Romania. They used their training to teach social workers in a local clinic how to better serve the needs of battered women and children. It was an amazing program, and they really made a difference there. So, once you've determined your level of involvement, you'll need to choose a volunteer location and focus. Options can range from medical volunteer work in Brazil to lion rehabilitation in Zimbabwe. And as a side note, if your school ever decides to do that program, I'd love to tag along. If you go at the right time of year, you get to feed baby lion cubs. Amazing. But to get back on topic, the long and short of it is that if you can imagine it, it can be done. When choosing a location, budget obviously plays a key role, but you should also keep your length of stay in mind. Volunteering in Africa with some time for a safari sounds amazing, but it's a long way to travel, so 10 days or more would be recommended. Next, you need to find an organization that needs the kind of volunteer services you'd like to offer in the location you want to visit. The easiest way to find a reliable host organization is to work with an American company, like us, that specializes in volunteer travel. The last step is to design an itinerary. During this process, you'll need to consider how many hours of volunteering you'd like to do, as well as the other activities you'd like to include, such as classroom time, city tours, or fun excursions like a rainforest zipline tour. A travel advisor with experience planning volunteer abroad trips can not only help walk you through, but streamline this process. Having one point of contact can save you time, labor, and money when making arrangements with multiple vendors. Now, let's take a minute to talk about some trip planning logistics. If you're taking 10 or more students, you should reserve flights for your group as early as possible. We recommend 10 to 11 months in advance of travel. Only an estimate of your group size is required at this time, and perhaps a small deposit depending on the airline. You won't need to worry about final passenger names or full payment until a couple months before departure. If you'll have less than 10, it's still best to encourage students to register and submit payment as early as possible to get the lowest airfare. But you will need to be prepared to pay in full and be ready with the passengers' passport names, birth dates, and genders. When it comes to planning the land portion of your trip, we suggest that you review the expectations of your project with your host organization and consider how they operate to ensure that your project design will be successful. Ask about on-site orientation, classroom space, and any other unique things your host organization and the town in which it's located may have to offer. Once you return from your trip, don't miss the chance to build on this experience through post-project activities that will both benefit the students and impact the success of future programs. Helping students process everything they experienced during their trip, both what they did for others and how it affected them, can strengthen the effect of the program. Providing creative outlets, opportunity for future community involvement, and direction on how to leverage their experience to make them more competitive in the job market could be invaluable. There are also some activities that the faculty leader or Global Studies Department can do to leverage the program's success. Many schools find their volunteer programs are more successful when they return to the same location year after year. The relationships that are built keep the momentum of the program going and make the process of planning future trips a breeze. One of the easiest ways to keep your program enrollment up is by encouraging students to generate excitement for the next trip. When they return to school, have them share their experiences through panel discussions, photo exhibits, articles for the paper, or whatever you can think of. Another great way to jumpstart next year's program is to send your travel planner a review of your experiences when you return. You'll want to share your changes, additions, ideas, likes, dislikes, and so on. Okay. If you think this is something you're interested in and want to discuss your ideas with us, we'd love to help you design a unique volunteer or service learning program. As a full-service agency that specializes in volunteer and educational travel, we can help you plan a trip that aligns with both your goals and your budget. We can arrange the entire package or any part you need. If you already have an itinerary in mind, ask about adding a volunteer component to your trip. We can arrange service opportunities that are any length of time. And don't forget, FTI has those humanitarian airline contracts we discussed earlier that provide discounts for anyone doing volunteer work while overseas. To get some ideas for your next trip, take a look at our website, fellowship.com. We can also put you in touch with our great tour staff. Okay, if you have any questions, you can email one of our tour sales agents directly. Their email addresses are on the slide. And I've also included their phone numbers, so you can give them a call to chat about your ideas for upcoming trips. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to working with you soon.